Alright, it's time to inspect the truck next month. The blinking tire light is, we got one of those air sensors that monitors the tire pressure in your tire. That's why that's blinking, so that's no big deal. That doesn't keep me from passing inspection. But you guys see the that engine light? That's going to keep me from passing inspection. So let's pause right here, and I want to show you the code. Alright, this is the driver's side. You see this? Plug this in right there. You get this little car diagnostic tool on eBay fairly cheap. And you run your DTC if you go to enter. I think that stands for Diagnostic Test Center. You hit enter again. It's got one fault. You say, what's the fault? You hit the scroll button. And it says P0446. You scroll again. They're both P0446. Okay, on a 2007 Chevrolet Avalanche, that's a Evap Canister vent valve. Evap Canister vent valve. So let's go to that next. Alright, you guys see that? If it ain't King James, it ain't Bible. Amen. Alright, let's crawl up underneath the back of this 2007 Chevrolet Avalanche. And I want to try to show you where the evap, it's called an evap canister vent valve is. So bear with me as I crawl up under this thing. There's the, I'm right underneath the spare tire, and here's the axle. You guys recognize that? And I'm gonna try to, you guys see this right there? I know it's probably tough, but that's the front of that's the gas tank right there, I think. Okay, this is the front of the gas tank. And if you follow, hold on just a second, I'm trying to get my finger. You see right above the spare tire, I believe that's what's called an evap canister vent valve. Hopefully you guys see it. So what that tells me is I've got to drop this spare tire to be able to get to it. So there goes my license plate, but anyway, let's stop the video and I'll drop the spare tire. Okay. Alright, bear with me as I try to hold the camera. Hold the camera, and you guys see that? You have to stick your key, turn that, push in. Now there's one on each side. You see how that works on an Avalanche? And down here, if I pull this out, these are the tools that I'll need to drop the spare tire. And then, hold on just a second, we'll do that next. Alright, so once you got the tools, come back here, and I've got something covering my license plate because I don't like all the trolls knowing my license plate number. But see, this thing opens right up, just snaps open. And then you take your key and you open that up, and that comes right out. Okay, and then I'm going to take my tools down here. Let me get my tools out. One of them is this thing. And you know what? I cannot hold the camera and put this thing together, so let me just put it together and I'll film it once I get the camera once I get the tools put together. Alright, it's so bright out here, I can't see what I'm filming and what I'm not. I mean, the face of the camera is just so bright, I can't tell what I'm pointing at, but hopefully you guys see that. So these are the four tools that come into the Chevrolet Avalanche, and that's the hole you stick them into. Now when I did this, I had to decide if that was the tool that unloosened this tire or that one. And I would have thought that that goes in here like that. Whoops. I would have thought that goes in there, and then I would have used that, but that's not the case. I'm gonna show you guys in a second, but it's a square, and you need that. I don't know, this is probably some extra for something else, I don't know, but that's the tool I needed that I put in there. And this thing ended up taking a major problem. You see this plastic piece has come off. You see that? That's the square. That square has to fit over that, and it turns this cable one way or the other. And this this plastic piece right here had come loose above the spare. Took me like 30 minutes of constantly fudging with it, and now I got to put it back. But see, this thing wasn't even lined up. It wasn't even lined up, so when I stuck in the spare tool removal, it wasn't lining up to the bolt. So I'm gonna work on that next. And the good news is, I believe that now I have access to my Evap vent. What's it called? The Evap Canister vent valve. So you guys see that? It was above my spare tire. But getting my spare, you know, it's a really good thing that I found this problem, because I don't want to be on the side of the road messing with a dang spare tire. I can't even get my spare tire down. So that's going to be fixed first. That's a major priority to get that reliable, because I don't want to be messing with having to, I can't get my spare tire release cable coming down. So you start working on one problem, you end up on the other, but that's okay. But I'm gonna jump back over to here. But let me work on my spare tire and get that fixed, and then we'll unhook that and see what we got. Take care, everyone. All right. So you guys see that snapped in, and that snapped in, and now when the spare tire removal kit comes through this thing right here, which ultimately goes into that, excuse me, goes into that hole. So you come in that hole, and you come under here in your spare tire. It needs to line up with that square bolt, which in turn releases this cable. Okay? And that cable holds your spare tire up there. But if this thing ain't snapped properly, you're never gonna line your spare tire removal tool. And so that's important to have snapped in, and somehow it came loose. You can see it's kind of loose right now. I don't like that, but I hope I don't run into that problem on the road. But anyway, next I'm gonna work on removing that right now, and let's try to get it out of there, and I'll show you what it looks like once I get it out of there. But I cannot hold the camera and remove it at the same time. All right, you guys see that? Looks like it has 3 connections. That's 1. I'll just simply pull that off. And this is 2 right there. I'll unlock that and pull that off. And that's the 3rd one right there. But at least I got it out of the, it just holds up. They don't even need a screwdriver to pull it out. It's very easy to get out. So anyway, if I'm not mistaken, that is the Evap Canister vent valve. I'll have it out of here in a second, and we'll analyze it on the we'll analyze it in the garage once I get it out of the truck. All right, well, we got it out of the truck. I had to take that connection off. Basically just had to use a knife and cut at the end of the connector because it was on there so tight. That was pretty easy to get off, and that was the only 2 actually, just those 2. This one goes up and it sits by, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh man. All right. So once I took those 2 connections off, that just goes and tie wraps and sits by where you put the gas in. It doesn't connect to anything. Matter of fact, if I blow in that, I can blow right through it and it blows fine. So it's nothing clogging it up that I can tell. But I'm going to put it all back together temporary and see if the alarm goes away. And worst case scenario, I will go buy a new one of these. Okay? But if I don't have to buy a new one, I don't want to buy a new one, you know. All right. I've got it all put back temporary. Got this connection. Got this hose back on. I haven't put it back in permanent yet, just sitting there. And this hose here, as you can see, I'll have to tie wrap it back up and put it in. It looks like it was just sitting by the gas cap. It wasn't connected to anything. So we'll put all that back, and let's go out to the front of the truck. All right, now I'm in the front of the truck. I've already used this tool to erase it. But as you guys can see, I don't have an engine light anymore, which is a very good thing. And if I scan this thing, it's scanning. But as you guys can see, if I put this right up to it, there's no engine light. That means I can get my truck inspected. DTC 00, that's a good thing. So the worst comes to worst, if it comes back in a day or two, I'll replace everything back there with a new unit. But if it doesn't come back, I'm going to go get my truck inspected, and I've just saved myself about $200 to $400, because that's how much they charge to replace it if you take it into the shop. Not only that, but I don't trust the shop. So when I take my vehicle in, I don't know if they're going to be FBI informants sticking bugs all over my vehicle, or they're going to, you know, stick a ice pick in my radiator hose and make up some other problems. So it's much better to do things yourself. It's kind of a pain in the neck, you got to find the time, but it's much better to take care of your things yourself. I really like it that I don't have a engine light. If I can just make it a day or two, I'll go get my truck inspected, and that'll be that. Take care, everyone.